Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and we're going to be talking about the motherboard of creation, just being tapped into our gifts, allowing the difficulties to be breakthroughs, allowing our fears to be actualized so that we can break through any barriers or chains that are binding us, any cords that are binding us, and allowing ourselves to create at a rate of speed that allows us to accelerate the present moment here and now. If we allow ourselves to become the motherboard of creation, then we're encompassing the vortex, we're encompassing the circle of life. We're encompassing everything that we allow ourselves to become the light of awareness itself. So everything that is coming in, everything that is fluctuating inside of you, and aligning our light and dark aspects, but also just aligning to emotional breakthroughs that is coming over the spiritual collective, and in embracing the tenderness of our own heart, embracing the integration, embracing the very fact that you had to be your old self to embrace your higher self. So when we're tapping into a higher frequency, we have to allow ourselves to embrace challenges, but to trust our talents in changing times. So as the times are changing, as every type of energy is shifting, as we're tapping into the realm of creation and manifestation, we're allowing ourselves to multiply upon the present moment here and now. So we allow ourselves to break down those barriers and implement new dimensional ley lines. But we also channel the higher dimensions and also the other realms, the unseen realms. But we also embody our energy of our guides, and we become our own metaphysical counsel, if you will. So we have to channel from our own source of energy. We have to channel from our own inner vortex. So it has to be the channeled embodiment of God's source energy that is resonating out of you so that you're able to project that awareness out into the ethers so that there is a reciprocation. And we have to know that it's like a boomerang effect. It's like generating those different causes and those different effects so that we initiate those different circumstances which acquire those different lessons and those teachings that are inside those difficult moments, facing our fears, forcing ourselves to be alive. Every day that you wake up in the morning, we have to force ourselves to come up with ideas, to come up with inspiration, to come up with things that feed our spirit so that we can have the riches of life and the fruits of the spirit and the ways of the spirit, so that we embody that oracle of love, light, and wisdom that wants to become us. So we're all just being here. We're all becoming. We're all integrating. We're all sending out these loving codes and these different configurations of energy and different truths so that we're igniting global awakening. So when we do this, when we become the motherboard of creation, we allow ourselves to see that everything is energy. Money, prosperity, empowerment, motivation, sensitivity, vulnerability, the tenderness of your own heart. It is all at the core just energy. And it's how you implement that energy that allows you to tap into that high vibratory state all the time. So it allows you to maintain that consistent awareness, but you become an impenetrative awareness. So that means that you don't mind if the routine changes. You embrace change all the time. You embrace when something needs to be cleared out of you. And always embracing and rejoicing in the journey itself will allow you to see that every time that you embrace that shift, that change, that painful healing that you have to have inside of yourself, that integrating, then that means that you're embracing God's source energy even more and not being afraid to level up, to have more leadership, to have more grace and anointing that is on your path. And you embrace challenges, you embrace difficult circumstances or dealing with people because they'll see you showing up for your life as if you're meant to be there. And then they'll start showing up to their life as if they're meant to be there. And when you do that, when you step up, when you change the energy, when you just show up for your life, for everybody that is meant to be in your life and who you're supposed to be of service to, then everybody around you changes with the auric field that you encompass. So we have to allow ourselves to change the environment, to change the landscape, to change the energy that is around us. And knowing that we don't have to take on any other energy that is not of our vibration. So we're a magnetic force of lovely energy. We're a magnetic, kinetic source energy force field. And we are the light of awareness itself. So that is where the heart of creation and the heart of the universe lies. So if we are that, then we need to treat ourselves with such value and such character, and developing this different personality trait, which will allow you to see how to perceive at each moment. But it also allows you to be open to anything that you want to receive. And when we build upon spiritual mass, when we encompass so much more light within our vessel, some things have to be exiled out of us so that we can become exalted. So we're here to use our gift in a transcendent way. We're here to offer up guidance, wisdom, and love, unconditional love. So if you've been afraid to use your gift, just know that that fear is telling you something. Your emotional guidance system is always telling you something. No matter what emotion it is, our emotions are not unsafe. Our emotions try to tell us something day in, day out. They try to relay something to us. They try to reflect something to us. And the ability to reverse those reflections, if they're not in vibrational alignment, just knowing that you have to overcome adversity always, and challenges and difficult situations, because they build our character and they build strength and stability within us. And they allow us to persevere through anything that we're holding back. So that allows us to debunk suppression and resistance, because it's just us focusing on us. So, but when we empower that, we become the motherboard of creation, that we allow the boomerang effect to be implemented, so that we're able to know that everything will be reciprocated back how much we give. Because when we give, we allow ourselves to receive even deeper. When we help someone, it makes us feel great. When we do these lives, it makes us feel great because someone's listening to this and someone's receiving your guided meditation, and then they're able to go about their day and be inspired and be alive once again. I force myself almost every day to be alive, to find something to live for, to be inspired, and to also know that there's always something to say, and you'll say what you need to say or channel what you need to channel when it's in that direct moment where you need to deliver it. And it's just kind of trusting yourself. It's not just having faith in yourself, but it's also just trusting yourself. Having that security within yourself, going with your heart, going with your gut. Your gut and your heart always tell you something. When there's ever something really important within your life, that gut instinct and those heart centers are primed. Because when we have that gut feeling and you go with it, it's usually the right thing to do. I don't believe in right or wrong, but for the sake of this video, that just feels vibrationally in alignment when you go with your heart and your gut, because you're finally trusting yourself internally. And when you're able to trust yourself internally, then everything around you changes, and it turns into this beautiful experience of expansion. When you really trust yourself, but you honor your worth and you respect God's source energy and the great I am. You have respect and kindness towards everything, because it allows you to be a non-dual awareness. It allows you to be independent and take accountability and responsibility for your vibration every single day. And a lot of us have to get to the end of ourselves so that we have a new transcendent beginning. And that's what's beautiful about spirituality, is that we're like, man, we're trying to get to the end of ourselves so that we're done. No, don't ever feel like you're done. Just feel like you're getting to the next stage, the next phase, the next elevation of energy, and the next transformation, the transfiguration of the soul. And that's what leaves us like wanting more, wanting to expand upon this present moment, wanting to achieve higher, and wanting to set goals and have different ambitions and have so many different things come out of ourselves. Rather it's business, rather it's like being musical, rather it's just learning how to meditate even better and deeper and resonating higher. A lot of you resonate very, very high, but when we're going through different states of consciousness, we go through fluctuations so that we remember those densities again, because it's called self-remembrance. And then you act upon the self-realization that is presented to you when you reach those higher states of consciousness. So a lot of the planet, it's not that you're not resonating from sixth density. A lot of people say that a lot of the planets, people on the planet are resonating from a fourth density energy signature. But maybe as they level up, they realize that they were always resonating high, but they learn how to use their energy and how to implement their energy, and knowing that energy and action produces results. So I know for a fact that if I didn't act on certain things in my life, I would not be here. And if I didn't have help to do that from the divine and also from, a teacher or whatever, because we all need someone to look up to so that we look inside of ourselves. It's like, I knew like a wrestler when I was a kid. His name was John Cena. He really spoke to me when I was a little kid, like hustle, loyalty, and respect. Those were the three things when I was a kid. Thank you for that. That allows you to see like, okay, but then that doesn't mean you need that person for the rest of your life. They just represented something for you that allowed you to be yourself again. So it's not like giving your power away to a person, but that person allowed you to activate something within yourself. And we have many different people that we look up to and that we listen to, but the real test is actually listening to yourself, is actually finding what's in your heart and finding what your heart desires and what allows you to integrate back into who you are and what you want to become. There's many different examples. There's many different people that are all great. But at the end of the day, it's that relationship that you have with the Creator and that waltz that you're having with the Creator. And also not being able to take certain things out of context. So like I may say something that doesn't resonate for somebody, but that doesn't mean that that person is right or wrong. And it doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. But they didn't resonate with that said thing, so they went about their own journey, because that is discernment. Because we all need discernment and wisdom and unity within ourselves to see what we need to do. So we don't have to suppress anything. We don't have to allow ourselves to be in a box or a category. But we can allow ourselves to generate different waves of energy and different ways to integrate and to create within this space of awareness. So because you are the motherboard of creation, you're what's generating everything in your reality, everything in your awareness right now, your emotions, your thoughts. But sometimes we have to have that discernment. What thoughts are coming in that is not of my energy, that is not of my awareness, that is not of my resonance, and things of that nature. So this allows us to develop patience, because we have to be cognizant and aware of certain things all the time, of certain energies, of certain ways of thinking, but also of certain ways of using our emotional guidance system, if you will. So if you're able to discover the polarity of positive and negative, and you're able to implement it in a way that is very, very powerful. I hope the internet connection's good. As I'm doing this live, I hope the internet connection's good. So when you're able to have discernment that if I do these negative circumstances and these negative experiences and ways of speaking and ways of confirming what I am and allowing myself to resonate from a negative standpoint, then I'm going to get negative results. But if I resonate from a positive standpoint, to break it down with simplicity, to find complexity within your simplicity, and to break it down to be like, okay, if I do these positive actions, I'm going to get positive results because I'm changing the cause and effects. I'm changing the experiences that I'm attracting to myself, but I'm also changing the way I'm projecting, the way I'm sending out that vibration, the way that I'm going about a certain situation. And this allows you to teleport within your future manifestations. This allows you to kind of like take a step back and think about really what you want or desire, write it down, put it on a piece of paper, and allow yourself to see what you absolutely want at this point in time, because you can place everything inside of your vortex, everything inside of yourself, and allow that vision to become who you are, because you are the motherboard of creation. And then you're able to decipher the lessons, the reflections, and the cryptic messages that we get from spirit. It's never just like a yes or no or a multiple choice kind of quiz with spirit. I noticed that with God's source energy. It's never like, okay, this is A, this is B, this is C, this is yes or no. It's usually like this big, long explanation and this big prophetic message that you have to decipher. And then once you get it, there's like a light bulb that comes off into your consciousness, into your awareness, that's signifying to you that you're on the right path. Because that is how the mirroring effect of consciousness is being reflected back to us. So when that light bulb comes off and it's like, wow, or like someone gave you a third eye activation and you feel 10 times better than you did earlier, or you meditated this morning and you were kind of frustrated in the beginning of the morning, but after you meditated, you sense the change within the organism. And then suddenly you're tapped into your heart centers and your gut and aligned to that mind. And you have that Infinity 8 symbol within yourself, the twin heart. Because if you go with your gut instincts, you already trust yourself. If you go with your heart, that means you're coming from a place of love. But then when you implement that with the mind, then you have a purified ego. So you're not going from a selfish intent. And trusting your instincts in changing times is a little difficult, because everything is always changing. Technology, health, everything is always changing. Spirituality is always changing. So you kind of have to develop the sense of adapting to your environment. When you're able to adapt to your environment, then you're able to adapt to the shift and the change and the transfiguration of your own soul. You're able to adapt to it, and then you're able to channel it from that standpoint. And that's what's beautiful about awakening. We're always adapting to the new wave of energy. We're always adapting to the new full moon or different ways of tapping into the quantum realm, quantum leaping, allowing ourselves to jump from timeline to timeline, collapsing those other timelines. But also, you allow yourself to see that there is nothing that you cannot do when you are the motherboard of creation. You are the creation that's projecting itself. You are the illusion that you are seeking. Everything is an illusion. That's why we have to see past that illusion and past those reflections. Because if we don't, then we keep going with this cycle or this pattern. So if we see that we're the motherboard of creation, that we're the circle of life, and we're the reciprocation of God's source energy, if anything in your life was taken away from you, it will come back to you. So rather it was your innocence, rather you were bullied when you were a kid or had past trauma. Sometimes we're pushed to the precipice into an extreme circumstance so that we awaken and align to ourselves. So when we do that, and we're kind of forced to make a decision almost, because we can continue one path, but then there's obviously another path. And it's based by your free will and how you embody it, but it's based by your free choice because you are the motherboard of creation. I know that was a lot, but if we are the motherboard of creation, then we are why we are grounding, why we are integrating, why we are healing. We're trying to find that creator God within ourselves so that we are trying to co-create this extension of source energy. And if we're creating that, then we're just getting reacquainted with ourselves. And we're meditating upon the I am presence so that we allow ourselves to see that our old self is the light and our new self is the dark, and it comes into balance and it comes into the flow of energy and allows you to tap into your prophetic nature. because we're all living a prophecy. It's been laid out before us, and we have to follow certain increments of our story. It's changing the story. It's changing the narrative. And now there are things that have to happen in your spiritual journey. And God does this so that we're accelerated, so that we're changed, so that we grow and that we encompass and accept the gifts that are here for us, so that we're able to have the wisdom and the maturity and the discernment to go about the journey. Because they could give us all the power in the world, but it doesn't mean that we're going to use it to the best of its capabilities. You got to know what your capabilities are now and purify where you're coming from instead of where you're going. Know what you're capable now, and knowing that you can't set unrealistic expectations on yourself. Set the expectations that you're able to reach. And sometimes it's just above you and you need to grab it and implement it. So the gist of this live, if I didn't say anything else, is realizing that you are your own teacher and your master. And the grace and the anointing that we carry within every single moment will allow us to become who we need to become at that exact moment. So we have to recharge our batteries, and we have to find a reason to be alive and to live always. That's the most important thing. If I didn't say anything else, I can say all kinds of fancy words and all that stuff. But the brass tacks, choose to be alive. Choose to find something that inspires you. Feed your spirit with what it needs. And know that the ideas always come before the vibration. So any idea that comes into the awareness, it's the energy and the excitement that comes within that idea. And knowing that you're the light of awareness, you are what is created out of everything. Light is the creation of every single thing. We wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't have the trees. We wouldn't have sunlight if we didn't have light itself. So I think my guides want me to do a meditation now. So they said I said everything I need to say. I might talk a little bit after the fact, but we're going to do a meditation. So I hope the internet connection's good. Thank you guys for 677 likes. Thank you Gus so much for that. And thank you for your gift. And just know you're very gifted, my friend. And Kim, you're very gifted too. All of you are gifted. I see masters. So we're going to do a meditation. So stretch your legs out if you need to. Stretch your neck, your arms. Let's just tap into our heart. Let's also tap into our gut. And then let's allow that energy from our gut to our heart and to our mind, and allow that to be our halo for sacred geometry, for sacred knowledge, but also carrying the sacred flame for the new generation of light workers. And I want you to see yourself as the motherboard of creation. But this is your visualization. I'm just the love letter. I'm just a representation of that, an example of that. But in this moment, I want you to prophesy how your motherboard looks like, how your Akashic record looks like, how the world looks like in your view, what you resonate with. It has nothing to do with the sense of me, but it has everything to do with the sense of we. We is unity, me is self-serving. We is truth, and me is a lie. So within this meditation, I want you to develop a sense of discernment, knowing that life is a boomerang effect. You threw that boomerang probably 2 years ago. It's coming back to you. The knowledge that you forgot, it's coming back to you. Anything that was stripped away from you, it's coming back. The armor of God is coming back to you. But you get to decide is what the beautiful thing is. You get to decide. You have the free will and the free choice to do absolutely whatever you desire. And that's what the difference is. If you never felt like you had your life in order, you didn't need to have your life in order. Nobody has it all together. But you have fulfillment. You have an encompassing vibration. Because you're aligning to your gut and your heart and your mind, and you're embracing those instincts to face those fears, but also to embrace different challenges. Sometimes it's just taking a moment to stop everything, to stop thinking for a second, to stop having the argument with yourself, like the resistance inside of yourself. Sometimes it's just having a tender moment, having a tender-hearted moment. That's all it takes for you to just be free. If it's money that you're seeking, know that everything is inside of you, the wealth that you're seeking. You're made of billions of dollars. Wealth is not something physical. Wealth is not a physical thing. But wealth is metaphysical. It's a non-physical act. You got to say that I am made of $1 million. I am made of the paycheck that I deserve. I am made of the corporations and the ambitions that I have and the decisions that I make. I am all of those things. I just forgot. And just look at your body. We're all different. We all have a different shape in our body. We all have a different thing to follow. But just know that when you're not feeding your spiritual body with what it needs, then you're going to feel drained. You're going to feel like you're taking on everybody's energy. You're going to feel like you're not receiving hard enough and clear enough and fearlessly enough. But just allow yourself at that moment to just let go. And just allow the metaphysical surgeons to give you the power to empower yourself. And in that moment, you feel absolutely electrifying. In that moment, you feel empowered. You feel completely different than what you were before. It's because there was a great change in the organism of consciousness. There was a great change inside of yourself. There was something that you were holding back, and you said, this is where it ends today. I end suffering because I'm going to take the focus off my own patterns and cycles, and I'm going to tap into the motherboard of creation and embrace that non-physical source of creating. Everything is already inside of my vortex. So that means that it's already been created. That means I've already been in the present moment. And that means that everything that I send out will come immediately back to me. It wasn't me just asking, believing, and receiving. It was really the very fact that I asked enough and I believed in myself enough to the point where I received and I knew that it was the absolute truth of all that there is. I knew that it was the truest thing that I ever felt in my life. It is where I had a transcendent beginning, a breakthrough. Something was just lifted off of me. And it was just so powerful. It was such a beautiful moment. Even in the messiest of moments that we have as human beings can be the most beautiful. Last night I cried for 3 hours straight. But it was beautiful that I did, because I was tapping into my heart center back again. And then that's when the unction and the authority of that motherboard changes everything within your life. And you just encompass that beautiful energy. And you just make that choice that I want to really create while I'm in the quantum. I want to quantum leap. I have goals and ambitions and companies I want to make. I'm going to create it right now in this meditative state. And because I've created it here, that means that it's already happened. And if it's already happened, then that means you need to let go of worrying about the outcomes and the details and the when and the how and the what and the where and who did that and who said that. And then you let go of that completely and you live a comfortable life because you remained in the stretching zone. You took a risk. You made a choice to show up to your life as if you're meant to be there. You found the distinction within the illusion. You found the distinction of how I can really make something happen. Not only a change within myself, but a change within another person. Because I know that I'm giving. And then you're not even thinking about receiving because you're already receiving as you give. You're not even thinking about it. But you just know that I'm giving myself to God. I'm giving everything back to God's source energy. I'm giving everything back to all that there is that lifts me up. And I trust myself and I trust and have faith that I know that I will come out victorious. All my loved ones, all my guides, all my higher self and God are on my side. And they always have been. I just forgot. And then you remember, and then you're able to act, and then you're able to realize, which allows for the transformation to shine through you. And this is how we really tap into abundance, so that we can have an abundance of energy all the time. And when you do, even in the points where you don't feel abundant, then you realize that that's not serving me. You have to do what serves you. You have to do what makes sense. And you have to prioritize the things that make you feel in love with life and make you feel alive again, so that you can come back and get reacquainted with your true resonance of the I am presence. Archangels, love and light, who's willing to cleanse us of our auric field, tapping into God's source energy and the great I am, diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth. And so it is. So I hope you guys really enjoyed that meditation. And just know that we're all just allowing ourselves to reconnect again, to come back to ourselves, and to really just come back to the source of creation that created us. Sent me a hat and a mustache. Believe it or not, I do love Western wear. And I do love Western movies. I actually have a pair of cowboy boots. And before I awakened, I actually worked on a farm, believe it or not. It's really hard work. So it was very synchronistic that you set the hat and mustache. Looked like Sam Elliott. But just know everything that you're experiencing. And if you're having a lot of abrupt emotions just come through, like you're a volcano, like you're exploding, yesterday, sometimes you need to take a day for yourself to come back to yourself, because we can be highfalutin and really upgrade and level up, but sometimes we need to just kind of give ourselves like a chance to reboot the system. Sometimes we're going through so many updates, and sometimes we're like a phone and we don't have the latest update. And then we need to take some time to just kind of shut the phone off and recharge our batteries and recharge our energy and call our energy back to ourselves. So one thing I did this morning, I took a bath with Epsom salts. And what I said was, I need to recharge my batteries. I need to call my energy back to me. So when you're doing these lives, or if you're doing a lot of things for people, if you're doing readings and stuff, you need to recharge your batteries and call your energy back to yourself, because you have the power to do that. I want you guys to know that. You have the power to call your energy back. You don't need to feel lethargic or tired, but some days you will. And those are the days you just need to call your energy back. But also that's the days where you need to allow your tender heart to heal and integrate and release. But also it will allow you to snap back into alignment. It'll snap back into your state. So it's just kind of like, okay, I was introverted, but now I'm extroverted. And now I'm alive again. I'm back to the motherboard. I'm back here. So we don't allow ourselves to forget who we are, but we allow ourselves to just integrate back to who we are. So like, you're your own employer. You are the one getting the paycheck. You have the determination and the discernment to allow yourself to be your own boss. You have to allow yourself to be your own boss. You are your own creation. You are the motherboard of creation. You are the person that's seeking the illusion within yourself. Even the projection of ourselves being on this camera here is an illusion. We feel like we're a solid object. We feel like we're a subject to object relationship, and we have to worry about all of the other people that are around, and that we don't allow ourselves to be insecure about it anymore. So we have to allow ourselves to see that we're generating another aspect of ourselves all the time, generating another reality and generating another shift within ourselves. So we're imparting that knowledge, but there's also a change inside of the organism of ourselves. So if insecurities come up, emotions come up, if things come up, allow yourself to really feel those emotions, and then allow yourself to come to terms with it, put it in a ball of energy, and send it back to the sun. So yeah, and also if there's anybody on your lives that are speaking negatively towards you, you have the ability to block them. Because when people are projecting on a live, they're really saying that about themselves. So if people are coming in, and this could be like, if people are coming in, you have to psychically protect yourself. And also protect yourself after you go live. Because I know some of you, you guys do stuff, but also when you're going to the store all the time, you have to be that force field of energy all the time. And it's a little difficult, but when you're on top of it, you allow yourself to see like, okay, I can be my own free being and my own free energy. Like this person, I wanted to ask this, answer this question that this person had. What to do if you're always positive? I don't think it's that you're necessarily being positive, because some people will like say that you're running away from your problems, but you are the light. And yes, you might be surrounded by negative energy and darkness, but just know that you have the golden bubble of transcendence And you have to implement that authority and that psychic protection, and you have to set protocols around your energy at all times and know your power. Because if you don't know your power, then you're going to take on people's energy and other things' energy. So you have to know your power and set those protocols and protect yourself whenever you're out and about. So I don't think it's always being positive. I like empowerment better. It's positive and negative. When we say that, we're trying to make the discernment of the polarity of positive and negative. So I don't think it's just being overly positive or overly enthusiastic, but it's choosing to be empowered and motivated to always know that you can be your own space of energy. So I love your question. I think your question was very beautiful. And I think it's not always being positive, but it's knowing your power, if you will. It's knowing your power and knowing how powerful you are. And I wish I would have done it a lot sooner, So I think that's everything. If my guides want me to say anything, if my higher self wants me to say anything. If I didn't say anything else on this live feed, just know that you are the motherboard of creation. Just know that you are the sacred geometry that you're seeking. Just know that everything that you're seeking is an illusion, and you're the master of illusion. Okay? We're prophetically creating an illusion that's generating different prophecies within everybody so that they can awaken to their transcendental consciousness. So a lot of us are prophets. A lot of us have been chosen for this new golden age that we're coming into as light workers, as people who meditate. So we're embracing our power once again. We're coming back into balance with the source of energy that created us. And yes, we can look up to God's source energy, and you should, but sometimes God wants you to recognize the creator within yourself. And sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do, is recognize the creator inside of yourself. So I might do readings and healings and activations later. So if anybody sees me on the live here, but if you're also on the live and you want to book private sessions as well, you can book private sessions for $70, healing session and an activation session for $60 and $50 for a psychic class. But if you see me doing readings, healings, and activations, I might do that later on tonight. But I want to thank you guys for being a part of this meditation. Thank you guys for liking the live. Thank you, Shauna, for liking the live, and Kim, thank you so much for liking the live and watching and participating. I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of the meditation, but also just receiving the meditation and connecting. And it's you guys that make this possible. It's the recipients of energy that makes this possible. Because I could make a video and sit and talk and do a meditation, but it's the fact that you guys received it is what's beautiful. So thank you guys so much for your gifts. Thank you so much for receiving the meditation, and God bless and namaste.